My name is Alexandria McKenzie, and I am a student at Grayson College in the RN to BSN program. This is my community health practicum project. For the community I chose is Colbert, Oklahoma. It sits very close to the Texas border. We have a population of a little over 1,300 residents. 34% of the families in Colbert have a child under the age of 18. It's primarily English speaking, with 1% being Spanish speaking. Sociocultural considerations. The primary religion in this community is Christianity. There are multiple different denominations spread out throughout the town. As far as race, it is predominantly white with Black and Native American following. The primary political party is Republican. During my window survey assessment, I noticed many strengths and weaknesses within this community. Firstly, it's a very small, close-knit community. Everybody knows everyone. There are EMS services available within the city limits, and there's a public park available within city limits as well. Weaknesses, there are very, very poor road conditions. There's no sidewalks available, and the greatest thing I noticed was there was a lack of resources for our youth. Other services, there is a police department, volunteer fire department. There's a community center specifically for our geriatric population where they host lunches and different activities for them. In regards to any necessities or food, there is a Dollar General that has some things available within the city limits. In case of an emergency and if you needed to be hospitalized or be seen in an ER, in outlying towns there are hospitals available. So there is TMC in Denison, which is about 8 miles away, and then Alliance in Durant, which is about 12 miles away. Safety concerns. Again, there is a very high traffic highway throughout this town, and it's very close to the schools and runs directly by the park that's in town for children and teens to play. The roadways and the no sidewalks makes it difficult for bike riding or walking throughout the community. And then again, there's just nowhere really for kids to socialize or hang out. So the schools in Colbert, for the demographic I'm looking at, which is about the ages from 12 to 18, so the Colbert Middle School holds 119 students, and the Colbert High School has 209 students. When you look at those numbers, you may think that doesn't seem like very many students, but since the population of Colbert is only a little over 1,300, these teens make up about 25% of the population. So for my interview, I interviewed a 13-year-old boy. Some of his concerns were, although there are many towns neighboring that have activities or places for kids to go, he does not yet drive. And his parents both work, so it makes it more difficult for them to transport him to other areas outside of Colbert. He's primarily grown up here, but he did have a 2-year time period where he actually went to another school. It was a larger school in the area, and he said he did notice that they seem to have more resources available for children or kids his age. The only sports available in Colbert are baseball and basketball, which are not things that interest him. So overall, he feels like he doesn't have a place to socialize or kind of harbor his special interests, which include music. So the problem is that there needs to be a space available for teens to socialize and to feel safe. There are studies that are showing that this time in a child's life, they absolutely need peer interaction. Mental health concerns related to poor socialization are also very common. The World Health Organization discusses the prominence of anxiety and depression in our youth, and the statistics show that 1 in 7 adolescents will have some form of mental illness throughout their childhood. In my opinion, substance abuse, mental health concerns, and social isolation all kind of stem together. So it's also important that we do things to prevent substance abuse in teens. And some appropriate interventions that have been documented are enhancing social skills, instilling self-confidence, and prevention programs through schools and communities. So my plan is to create a community center for adolescents. This would be specific activities or programs depending on their age, meaning someone 12 to 14 may not want to be doing the same things as someone 16 to 18. It would be a place that they could socialize with their peers outside of school. We could implement different group sports. And then my goal would be to have counselors available so that these teenagers also have a safe place to go with any issues or concerns, especially if they're dealing with a mental health issue. I would collaborate with the schools, financial concerns, hopefully getting them on board. They could financially help create this space for our teenagers in the community. And the goal would be for it to be nonprofit. The teaching component, I would come to the schools to introduce the teens about the facility, let them know what the plans are, what types of activities we'll have, what they can expect from the counselors, teaching about mental health, what are things that they need to be looking for, when do they feel like they should talk to somebody, teaching about the prevalence of substance abuse and the need to refrain, and then teach about the importance of community and socialization. I would also implement pamphlets for the parents, which would include signs and symptoms of mental disturbances they may need to be looking out for, different tips or resources for how to communicate with your teen, how to get them to open up to you. And they would also have community resources available for them. So one in particular is the youth services of Bryan County. My expected outcome is for our teens to be able to socialize with peers. As we saw in the research, it's very important in adolescence for them to have peer interaction. A safe place for them to discuss feelings and concerns. And then the goal is also to decrease or prevent substance abuse in this population. For the community, in particular the parents, make sure they have knowledge about different mental health issues, signs and symptoms they need to be looking out for, comfort in knowing their teen has a safe place to be with friends, and then prevention of substance use in teens. For my evaluation, I would do a formative evaluation. This type of evaluation focuses on kind of assessing as we go, determining if things are working or if we need to implement something else. This can be done by questionnaires for the teens and for the parents, monthly meetings within the community to determine if what we're doing is working, if there are other programs that we might need to add, or new issues or concerns that need to be talked about. And here are my references.